What do you think happens on a team when the team leaders don't have sufficiently high morale? When the team leaders are demoralized? When the coach is demoralized? What would you suspect would happen to the morale on the team? It's pretty hard to imagine that the players would be indifferent to that it wouldn't affect them negatively. You could see if on the team there was a designated captain, somebody who was a leader among peers, kind of making an excuse in some respects or giving an explanation for why the coach or the team leaders were demoralized. You could even see the, win one for the Gipper thing, maybe get everybody psyched in order to support the team leader who's temporarily suffering. But that's really Hollywood. Not that it could never happen in real life, but it's not what you would normally expect to happen. What you normally expect to happen is the whole team starts to go down the tubes. There's no inspiration at the top. There's, kind of desperation. There's quitting at the top. There's the thought of quitting at the top. What do you expect the people underneath to do? In fact, you sort of expect the team to go through a certain set of stages, progressively demoralized, starting out with, all right, well, let's give it a try anyway, and maybe if we do well, it'll cheer them up. And, finding that a little bit hard to accomplish. You'd have them start to pick on each other and, castigate each other. Still in an effort to bring out the best, perhaps, in each other. At least that would be the underlying intention, but it would backfire. Everybody would be, backbiting, backstabbing, finger pointing, blaming, criticizing. And in short order, you'd have every man for himself as the prevailing philosophy. And then cheating. Some cheating would take place, some lying, certainly some efforts to escape culpability and blame. Maybe there would be factions that would form. If it was baseball, the infield would form a faction against the outfield or the pitchers and that sort of thing. Well, maybe you can guess what I'm suggesting here. I'm drawing a parallel to the family. If morale at the top is poor, how do you expect children, youngsters, teenagers, to find their way to adequate morale, to high morale, when what's trickling down from the top is toxic? And so parents will ask, okay, Doc, so I get the idea that morale is important. What can I do to improve my child's morale? And I would tell them, look in the mirror. The first order of business is make sure on some level you're playing the game of life with enough morale that it might serve as an inspiration. And for how many parents out there would that not be true? And so you're really expecting your kids to be like that team that rallies around and finds their way to higher morale than the leaders have. And again, that's mostly Hollywood. That's not really how it tends to work. So your kids are looking to you, and they won't say this, but they're looking to you to illustrate with some clarity what the upper level of experience could be playing the game of life. Are you happy playing the game of life? Are you sharing that with them? Happy, I'm using the term loosely, but I mean, are you glad to be on the team human? Do you feel supported as a human being by the larger team? Are you making a contribution to the team? Do you have a valuable place on the team? like the definition said, and I'll say it again in a minute. You have confidence, you have a sense of purpose, and you have a sense of being useful as aspects of legitimate, viable, sufficient morale. If that's not you as a parent, where do you expect your kids to get their inspiration? So that's the first order of business. That's something that parents can actually begin to do, to implement on their own. Look in the mirror, assess your own and your partner's morale, and ask yourself the question, if you were under you as a team player and looking to you for inspiration, would you be inspired or would you be dispirited? And if you recognize it's the latter, then you've got work to do on your own to sort of reinvent yourself and reinvent your relationship to being on the team and playing the game of life. You work hard to recover your own morale, to elevate your own morale, then turn to your children and say, follow me.